The Murrumbeena Football Club's a proud history of many contributors over the years. None greater than that of Emrys Lloyd-Griffiths. And to top it all off, his contribution in the Southern Football League boardroom, equally as important. He's a man we see at the finals every year, still working hard, and a great contributor in junior and now women's football. Our latest inductee into the SFNL Hall of Fame, this is the Emrys Lloyd-Griffiths story.
Emrys Lloyd-Griffiths is nothing but a straight shooter, and 40 years ago he came into Murrumbeena Football Club when I was the coach. He and two of his mates, Jimmy, Vivian and Jamesy, and I called them the Three Musketeers. Emrys told me later that he brought Jim Vivian with them because he wanted at least one of them to be able to play. So then from there, he's been just a great servant at Murrumbeena, but also more importantly at league level, and his contribution, it still continues. Just a great man.
Emrys, thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Now I want to go right back to the beginning, when little Emrys Lloyd-Griffiths walks into his first football club, his first experience. Where was it and what was it like?
It was Glen Huntley under 15s. A friend of mine from Caulfield Tech asked me, he said, I want to play football. Would you like to come with me? And 5 of us went down there, all friends from high school or tech school. And we played 1 year there at East Caulfield. Yeah.
East Caulfield Footy Club?
Sorry, Glen Huntley.
Glen Huntley, then East Caulfield Footy Club after that.
Yeah. And
that was named East Caulfield just to separate itself from the Caulfield VFA team, as I understand it.
Well, possibly. I don't know. All I know is that if you went to Caulfield Tech, you played at East Caulfield, right. And if you went to Caulfield High on the other side of the racetrack, you played at Glen Huntley.
Do you remember any of your teammates back in those days?
Oh yeah, Steve Thompson, Jimmy Vivian, they were the protected players.
Protected in the sense that?
They were better.
Right, yeah.
And your job was to get the ball to them.
Right.
And protect them.
So it was go get it them and give it to these blokes.
Pretty well,
okay.
Yeah.
So where does it go from there? There was a few other clubs still?
Well, we stayed at East Caulfield for 6 years until unfortunately they folded in the old Federal League. They folded in 1976, and about 21 of us decided we all wanted to stay together. We were all friends.
Yep.
And like I said, unfortunately East Caulfield had gone and it was never going to come back. So we decided a guy called Nick Lindsay was the driving force, and he said, I've found this club Murrumbeena. And so about 21 of us roughly went there with the Jim Vivians of the world, so we were welcome.
Now what year would that have been?
1977.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
And then it was quite bizarre because Glen Huntley folded at the end of 1976, and all those players, a heap of them, Francis Healy, Butch Thorne, Con Constantino, a few of these, Ray Wilson, they all went to Ashburton, and Murrumbeena played Ashburton in the grand final that next year.
Interesting.
It was.
Yeah, would have been.
He's been there since the mid-70s, served on committee, been a vice president. I'd be guessing 20 years, somewhere there, then went on for the league and did a great job there, I think vice president for the league as well. And now back coaching the girls. He's coached reserve sides before that, went up to Mount Waverley as well and coached up there, I think, Box Hill Pioneers, I should say. And now back coaching the women's side, doing a great job of that too. The girls love him.
So Murrumbeena Footy Club, where I see overall you played 100 games?
About it, Beena, yeah, roughly. I missed a bit. I missed a good 2.5 years with a knee injury.
So what were the highlights? You said there was a grand final in there just for a kick-off?
The 1986 premiership. That was by far
the great Rob Spalding as your playing coach?
He was the playing coach. He got me to apply for the reserves job, which I'd already applied for previously and got knocked back. Hence I ended up at Box Hill Pioneers for a year. And then he asked me to come back and coach the reserves, and because he played in the seniors, he was a playing coach, obviously in those days, you could have them. I ran the whole Saturday daytime, if you'd like, after playing in the twos. So sitting on the bench was a lot of fun. Grand final, we beat East Brighton by 7 points. It was a ripper day. Yeah.
One you never forget. That's what they're all about.
No, a long time ago now, but no, you don't forget them.
Yeah, okay. I see there's some time at Box Hill Pioneers. You mentioned that briefly.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experiences there.
Yeah, two kinds of coaches. It's sacked and unemployed, I suppose, or employed and not employed.
Right.
Quite bizarre. I was in a wedding at Nil, and a person come up to me at the wedding and said, "I believe you've been chopped as a coach at Murrumbeena." I said, "Well, yeah, pretty well, yeah, pretty well." I was tapped on the shoulder. Time to wind it up. He said, "Would I like to put a job in?" Very, very similar to what Bobby Spalding and I had, where Dean Jobe was the senior coach. He was a fireman, couldn't get to training a lot. Good player,
So
Dean.
you ran the training sessions.
Oh, Dean, yeah, and he was a good footballer, Dean, yeah. So he did the match days, or he played on the Saturday, obviously. I played in the reserves as a playing coach the whole 2 years. And then I ran the Saturday, the bench stuff and all that sort of thing. Had moderate success, not overly that good, but a great club, fantastic club, fantastic people.
But ultimately you find yourself back at Murrumbeena.
Was always going to happen.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I live across the road.
Yeah, and it's not just where you live either. I think it's inside you. There's just the ingrained love of the place.
Yeah, look, our girls played there. Brooke, our oldest one, did Oz Kick. Nikki played 3 years there until she got to, in those days, there was no avenue for ladies to play. So she gave it away and took up another sport. And then, I've just been there. My wife's a life member there. She ran the canteen, social committees,
Just stepping forward with your daughter not able to do that anymore. We know the world's different today. And Murrumbeena have a senior women's football team, and I understand that I'm sitting currently speaking with their coach as well.
You got that right?
Yeah. And spoke to you about it recently, and was really, really impressed with your passion for it all too.
Yeah. Look, they're a great bunch of girls. When the idea came up, I put my hand up. I thought, what will this be actually like? And then I thought about Nikki, how she couldn't progress, and Penny Cooler-Reid went down the court avenue to force the leagues into a ladies' competition, which I admire her for. But Nikki wasn't involved in that; she was too young. So I thought about it, and I thought it's a good avenue. It adds another arm to the football because we're part of the community. So they're a great bunch. They're winning at the minute. See how far we go with it. But
they've got a pretty good coach, as I understand it.
Well, I don't think there's a job at Murrumbeena, talking to people over the years, that Em hasn't done within the club. He's held every capacity. He's so selfless and just gives us his time. He's coached. I think he played there at some stage if we go back far enough. Even now, their inaugural SFNL women's team, who's coaching, who's leading from the front? Emrys. He encouraged them with the under-19s. He was, again, a leading player in getting that off the ground for Murrumbeena. So Em's one of those guys. If you need something done, if somebody needs to give it a push and get the ball rolling and make it happen, that's our Emrys.
I want to backtrack a little bit. Sorry to go backwards and forwards, but
right.
you've also spent a little bit of time sitting in the boardroom at SFL headquarters. Tell us about your time as a board member there, and how did that come about?
Okay, I was pretty critical of the then current board about, it was probably 1988, around there somewhere. And the then Vice President Tony Troon said, I had a very close relationship with Tony through South Melbourne districts, and we had some joint functions together and stuff. And anyway, he said to me, part of the problem. If you're not part of the problem or the solution or whatever he said, hop on board. So buggy her, I will. And
So
I
it was
did.
put up or shut up in some ways, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A fair point.
Yeah. Vice president and acting president at
Yeah.
some point?
Yeah, I was on the board 10 years. It was tough early days. We had no money. We were broke. We had board members were falling away. Tony became ill. I became vice president, I think, for 4 years, something like that. And then Tony became ill, and I was acting president for a year when, some changes had to be made.
Yeah, sure.
There was 3 board members left. There was Terry O'Callaghan, who'd had an accident on a bike. It was Steve Barnes and myself, and that was it. And obviously Kingsley in the office, and we were going steadily downhill. So I employed people to join the board. We were lucky enough to get Greg Cusack. I got Mick Insel and Gary Embleton. And then Steve Barnes went out with, I think, Daryl Pittman, and got David Andrew, Gary Cranny. I can't think of the others, but it was a complete change.
Big
Absolutely.
changes in the boardroom.
Fantastic
New
changes.
talent coming in, and things start heading in the right direction.
Yep.
You're able at some point then to relax away from that a little bit,
Yeah.
and earn the nickname Mr. Finals.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that most people who come to SFNL finals these days would see you wandering around somewhere with a walkie-talkie and a bag full of footies and all sorts of paperwork, and perhaps the busiest man at the venue. What drives a man to take a project like that on at this stage, having done so much work beforehand?
Well, in the early mid-90s, there was a guy called, I can't think of his name, his last name was Richardson. He was on the board. He was from Richmond Central Football Club. And Jeff Hunter was the then CEO, I suppose, or GM.
Yep.
And we had the finals at Caulfield in the old VFA grounds then. And he just said to me one day, could I help run this medal presentation? Because there was nobody there.
Yeah, sure.
So it was like, oh, well, you're here, you'll do, you're it. And I did, and I helped and had to, I don't know, collect the money off the gate and sign team sheets and all this sort of stuff, get the footies and thing, and then bundle it all up at the end. And I can't honestly remember if it was Jeff Hunter or that guy, I can't remember his first name, asked me, would I help again? And I said, we'll see.
How many years now have you been doing it?
I don't know. 15, 16.
I was going to say, it's got to be at least a dozen that I know of.
Somewhere. I don't know. Yeah.
One of the other things, just change direction slightly, your involvement at league headquarters would be in the Youth Development Committee. As the chairperson of that. Now, I've sat in that room with you, and we've talked a lot about what needed to happen about developing youth football, under 19s in particular.
Yep.
You've got a real passion for that, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clubs need to realise if they don't breed from within and form a culture with junior football clubs, whether it's schools, junior, your own junior club, or align with a junior club, money is going to kill this competition.
Yeah.
And it's no secret, that's why the points system is in now, and so on. And Murrumbeena are open to it, just like St Paul's or St Kilda City or anybody else out there. Their players can get poached. And if you start waving that magical carrot of $500, $600, $1,000, whatever it is, in front of somebody, they get big heads and they go.
So it's a new world, isn't it? In many ways?
Absolutely, yeah.
The days of someone being a one-club person are fairly rare now.
Yeah.
This is an odd one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. They tell me you can do amazing things with duct tape.
Well, that's it, because Adam Sparrows doesn't know how to turn a screwdriver.
I'm almost too scared to ask him, but go on.
Well, Adam thinks that duct tape can fix every problem on the planet, and he's probably right if he knew what he was talking about.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have a mechanical bone in his body. And so this duct tape kept appearing, and I go, what's the duct tape for? He says, well, I think it was the Gran Torino movie you watched where, was it Clint Eastwood? Said, give me some wire, pair of pliers and some duct tape and I can fix anything. And I think that's where he got it from.
Okay.
But I don't know what the duct tape's for.
You don't think he was maybe calling you the Clint Eastwood of the Southern Footy and Netball
I can
League?
tell you what happens with the roll of duct tape.
Okay, it's a bit
It's in
scary.
the shed,
Okay.
in my shed.
Maybe that's for another day. Life member of the Southern Football and Netball League, life member of the Murrumbeena Football Club.
Yep.
It's a pretty important acknowledgement of the work that you've been doing, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's a culmination of, I suppose, the effort you put in. To be recognised by your peers is probably, the most rewarding side of it. You're at clubland. You've got to look outside clubland. It's the bigger picture stuff.
Yeah, sure.
It really is. And if you don't have the Gary Crannies of the world now, and what's his name? The president,
David Coots?
David Coots. If you don't have those sort of people, the clubs can't operate. It's that simple. So while we all love our clubs, and we do, and the Bean is great for me, there's also bigger picture stuff.
Yep, sure.
And to be acknowledged by your peers, life membership for the league, it's sort of good. It caps things off. That's nice. It's a medal and hangs on the wall, and probably never see it again. From time to time.
I'm sure you'll pull it out and take a look at it every now and then, Em.
It's on the lapel of the jacket. I don't wear a lot of jackets, so it's probably still on there.
I was one of the best men you could ever get to know. He very caring for community and club, and very hardworking. I've spoken about him. I had the opportunity to speak about him at the club on Thursday night, and probably going to repeat a bit here. But sorry to bore you, Emrys. But he's helped my wife do fates for the local school, and he's been the go-to man for everything. Really, fantastic bloke.
I'm in awe of what Emrys has done. It's not just Emrys, it's his wife Linda down at Murrumbeena. They do plenty and have done for 40 years. Equally at that time, Emrys has served on the board. He's tried to do the best things possible for the Southern Football League. He's been there when the league had shrinkage, and he didn't leave until there was a turnaround and growth started. So to me, that shows the quality of the bloke. He sticks fat. Emrys Griffiths couldn't deserve it more.
He deserves it because he gives so much time, energy and effort in the interests of others that make up this great football and netball league. He's selfless. It's never about Emrys. It's always about the people in his club and around the league.
Now, we're here with your grandson, Finlay, who obviously will say later his mum and dad too, which is very important. It's important that, from your point of view, the work that you've been doing is a legacy for future generations. You're here with Finlay. What does it mean to you to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Again, I think if you went back to the acknowledgement of the life membership at Murrumbeena and SFNL, I suppose it's another, it's another acknowledgement of your peers, that a lot of hard work. I actually haven't thought a lot about it, to tell you the truth. I knew a few weeks ago, and I was asked to not say anything down at the football club, which I didn't, and then they had a joint announcement, which is fair enough. I understand that. But to be acknowledged, I suppose, from within, and I still don't know who nominated me. So whether it was the football club or whether it was Linda, or I don't know. Nobody's told me. So, but again, just acknowledgement. To be in the field with some of the people in there that I know, obviously Bob Spalding is the thing. But, Steve Barnes, he's an ex-Murrumbeena boy too. you know, the John Bennetts of the world, and you know.
And now Emrys
Kingsley.
Lloyd-Griffiths joins that list. He must be a pretty special bloke. What do you call him?
Poppy King.
Poppy King. Almost wish you were my grandfather, mate. Congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Terrific. Thanks, Aaron.